Just days after his beatdown at the polls, President Barack Obama is leaving the country, heading to Asia for 10 days, his longest overseas trip as president. On the campaign trail, Asia sometimes seemed a dangerous competitor.
Do you think that China is cutting education spending by 20%? Is South Korea or India?
But post-election, it's a valued export market and a key to rolling back the recession.
How are we going to open up markets so that American businesses can prosper and we can sell more goods?
When U.S. corporations look for growth, they're not looking in the U.S. or in Europe now. They're looking at China, Southeast Asia, India.
And India is where the trip begins, a rapidly industrializing India that in some respects is the anti-China.
India is also a rising power with high growth rates, a growing middle class, and a country that in population will surpass China in a few decades, and that, unlike China, is a functioning democracy.
While some Americans fear that sucking sound is jobs being outsourced, free traders argue even more are gained by exploding Indian demand for U.S. goods and technology. While in India, Obama will remember victims of the Mumbai massacre, staying at a hotel that was a prime target of the terror attacks 2 years ago. This trip also takes the president to Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim country and where Obama lived as a child, and two big international summits, the G20 in South Korea and the Asia-Pacific Summit in Japan. Dominating those two meetings is the one country Obama is not visiting on this trip, China. And it's an increasingly assertive China, disputing territory with its neighbors and rocking the trade boat with a flood of cheap exports.
What he'll hear in spades in Delhi, in Jakarta, in Seoul, and in Japan is the Chinese are making us nervous.
Currency is the current Chinese powder keg. Obama will press China's leaders to let the yuan rise to give American products a better shot at competing.
The relationship between China and the United States is complex and of enormous consequence.
For Obama, his re-emergence on the world stage is tied to the summits, at which he'll join a group of leaders, many of whom are even more unpopular than he is, or who've just replaced ones the voters tossed out. Mark Smith, The Associated Press, The White House.